Hi guys, welcome back to the ranch. It's Stephanie with the Rancher's Homestead, and today I'm going to talk all things chicken. Now, when I say chicken, I mean laying hens. If you are thinking about getting chickens, if they intrigue you, if this whole homesteading, farming, ranching lifestyle makes you wonder, can I do that too? And you're thinking about starting with chickens, then this is the video for you. Today I'm going to share with you some preventative measures I take with my chickens, my favorite waters and troughs that I use, and just kind of some rule of thumb when you have chickens and things that I've learned. So come along with me and I will show you. Okay, here we are in the chicken coop. Now the first thing that I want to talk to you about is preventative. So how do I care for my chickens? Now something stuck with me a long time ago when I first got chickens that I had read on a blog post was, it is so much easier to prevent things from happening than trying to correct something once it's already happened. And so I've kind of kept that in the back of my mind in everything that I do. And that just rings true for pretty much every area of my life, but all animals. It's so much easier to do preventative measures than having to always go back and correct things when they go wrong. So some of the things that will always be a thing for chickens, and that will always be something that you're going to deal with is lice and mites, mice, rats, things that get into the feed. You know, there's lots of feed out all the time. They scratch, they get it out. That's going to bring mice and it's going to bring rats. They're always going to struggle with lice. They're always going to struggle with mites. But the best thing you can do is try and prevent them from ever getting those. Instead of trying to constantly have to treat them and care for them when they do. Now there are powders and different things that you can use if you need to, if your chickens do get lice or mites or anything like that. But I like to prevent. And the first way that I do that is by using First Saturday Lime. Now I buy this on Amazon, and how this works is it's just a powdered substance that I spread all over the coop. So about once a month I try and clean the coop. We're just about getting ready to do it. As you can see, the bedding is getting thin. They've scratched around on it, and it needs to be cleaned out. So what I will do is clean all of the old shavings out, anywhere where there's moisture and things like that, all the poop and all of that, and then I will spread a good hefty layer of this down all over the coop floor, in the nesting boxes, everywhere, and then put fresh bedding down. This is going to be key to keeping things at bay and helping prevent from getting your chickens getting things that you don't want. Okay, so here are my nesting boxes with the First Saturday Lime in it. I have not put any bedding inside the nesting boxes. My chickens are only 7 weeks old and they are not laying yet. And on my head, I'm thinking if I can not make them a warm, cozy bed inside here, maybe I will prevent them from sleeping and roosting and doing all the things inside the nesting boxes, and they won't poop in there and get my eggs all dirty when they are laying. So I am going to not put any bedding in my nesting boxes until they're getting closer to laying, and hope that that helps. I don't know if it will, but I'm hoping for it. But this is what I mean by sprinkling a hefty layer. Okay, so the second thing that I do as a preventative is put apple cider vinegar inside of their water. So about 8 months ago, back in California, when I had my chickens, it was the dead of summer, and I had all of my chickens stop laying. I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't like it was getting cold or anything. And so I started doing some research online, and I found that apple cider vinegar is very good for their digestive system and their overall immunities. So I decided, what can it hurt? So I went out and I put apple cider vinegar in their water. And within 4 days, all my chickens started laying again. So I'm a firm believer of it, and now I do it every single month. So once a month, you are going to put apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon per gallon of water inside your chicken water. So you only need to do it once a month, and I will show you right now how. Okay, so here is my water. Now this is a 5-gallon water. So I'm going to put 5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in it. I know I filled this all the way to the top already. And I always try and do it at the beginning of the month. We are at the end of April, so I will just do it at the end. But that way it's just kind of easy to remember, and I just stick it on my calendar. And then I will just put 5 tablespoons of this inside of their water, and this will be super helpful. Got a little fuzz on that. Super helpful for their digestive system. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I use an apple cider vinegar that I get from Azure Standard, which is my grocery co-op that I did a video on a couple weeks ago of how I buy all my groceries. I buy my apple cider vinegar in bulk there, and I love their vinegar. I will also make my own out of apple scraps when it's the fall and I'm making a lot of different and canning some different apple treats, and so then I'll save all my clippings from that, and I will also make my own there, and I will use that in their water. But when I don't have that on hand, then I love buying it from Azure Standard. I will drop a link to Azure Standard in the description. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about is my favorite feed trough and waters. So I have tried a lot of different feeders and a lot of different waters, and I've never been completely happy with any of them until now. So just recently I went ahead and bought this this feed trough here from Amazon, and it has been such a blessing. For one, it's easy to move wherever you need it to move to, and 2, they can't poop in it. They don't waste a whole lot of feed. I just fill it all the way up, and there's plenty of space for all of them to get in. They can't scratch it out. They can't poop in it, because even if they get up on top of here and roost, their little booties hang over it and they don't get into the actual trough where the feed is at. I have very minimal shavings in it. It has worked so wonderful, and not wasting feed, and everyone is getting fed and happy. So I highly recommend this. I bought it on Amazon, and I will also drop that link in the description. Now on to my water. So there, I've probably gone through about 4 waters that I have tried and didn't like. Either they rust, they get poop in it, they get stuff in it, they just don't work very good. I don't know. I have not been happy with a lot of waters until I found this one. Also bought on Amazon. And there's 4 little spouts, 1 on each side. And I love it because they really cannot get much in it. And the little bit that they can get in it, I just go ahead and twist these, whoops, like that, dump them out and twist them back down, and it refills right back up. So I love it because even when they get some stuff in it, it's easy dump, and you don't have to dump the whole thing, just a little cupful of it if they get anything in it at all. This has been really great for them, and it has been great for me in being more efficient in their water. Now, if you are like me and you are just brand new to starting chickens, how I was a couple years ago, and you're not really sure where to start, what you're doing, or anything like that, but you know you want fresh farm eggs, then don't be intimidated. It really is rather simple. There is a couple things that you do want to have in your coop, and that is some spots for them to roost. So along with your feed and water and having a good feed and water, an important thing for them is somewhere where they can roost on. And so this came in the coop that we had that's already here, and they love it. But it can be as simple as finding a corner and putting 2 boards, or putting a board between 2 slats. It can be as simple as 2x4s and nailing them together and just making some form of a stand that they can sit on and roost on. So this is a fantastic option if you have a builder in your family and you can do something like this, or you can do something very, very simple and it doesn't need to be complicated, but that is something that you will need to. Okay, so the other thing that you're going to need if you're going to have laying hens is nesting boxes. So the rule of thumb is you need 1 nesting box per 4 chickens. So I have a lot of nesting boxes here, which means I can get a lot of chickens, much to my husband's dismay. But you just keep that ratio kind of in mind when you are forming your chicken coop. Now, a nesting box doesn't need to be anything fancy. Again, this coop was already here. I'm very grateful for the nesting boxes that are in here. These are nice, good, sturdy nesting boxes. But you could do, I've seen 5-gallon buckets turned to the side with some bedding in them. I've seen some really creative nesting box options if you're building a coop from scratch. So look on Pinterest, look on the internet. I bet you can get some really good cost-effective ways to get nesting boxes, but you will need nesting boxes, 1 nesting box per 4 chickens when you have laying hens. And then always about once a month put in your first Saturday lime and bedding in it when they're. And the last thing that's important when you have chickens is somewhere for them to come outside and get out into the sunshine. They love the warmth. That's when they lay their eggs the most. And a safe spot for them to scratch and give themselves a dust bath and all of those things. So here is our nice run that came off of the chicken coop. As you can see back there, they have their door. They can go in and out. But you will want somewhere for them to be able to go outside and enjoy the sunshine, to scratch around, to pick the bugs and all the things out here that naturally come with the earth, to be able to give themselves a dust bath. It's really important for them. Now at our house, we have to have a very enclosed run. This is a nice big large run, but it has a roof and sides because our dogs and our cats think that our chickens are snacks. So we have to keep them locked up. They cannot free range here, otherwise they will not stay alive for very long. But if you don't have that problem and you want to have chickens, it's as simple as just letting them come out of their coop every day and then maybe just putting them back up at night so no predators like hawks and different things can get them, or raccoons or any of that. But if you are like us and need a run, some boards and some chicken wire work really, really well in keeping dogs and cats and other predators out, but letting your chickens have some range to get outside and enjoy. One thing to remember when you decide to get chickens is to just have all of your things ready to go before you get them. They grow really, really quickly, so if you're getting them started as little baby chicks, it will not be long before they're going to be out of that water trough or carrier or whatever you have them in and into some form of a coop. It does not take very long. Like I said, these big gals are 7 weeks old, so I haven't had them very long and they've been in the coop for quite some time. So I will say that you need to kind of be prepared, have a plan in action, and have all the things that you need before getting the chickens. I'm notorious for just jumping right in when I want something and not really doing the research first and getting everything set up. I kind of do it as I go, which I don't recommend. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something today. And if you are a new beginner chicken lady and are ready to jump in with both feet, it's not complicated. Don't be intimidated. And I hope that you take some of these tips, apply them, and enjoy having those farm fresh eggs, because there's nothing better than a farm fresh egg on your table for breakfast in the morning.